Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Okay, May Movie Haul Part 2. The last video that I did, I showed you a whole load of pretty interesting titles, I think, that I picked up just from one particular place. Throughout May I was going all over the place, picking up all kinds of things, and so let's get on with it. I'll show you what I got. First up, we've got on Blu-ray here, Triangle, and this is a really good sort of horror thriller in a kind of Groundhog Day style, starring Melissa George. I've seen this one a few times, I really, really like it. Glad to now have a copy. Australian horror movie here, Wolf Creek, quite a disturbing one, but a good one. From 1989, this is Chances Are, with Robert Downey Jr., Sybil Shepherd, Mary Stuart Masterson. Mel Brooks movie here, Dracula Dead and Loving It, with Leslie Nielsen. Nice little Warner Archive title this. This is the Agatha Christie 10 Little Indians, with Shirley Eaton and Fabian and Leo Jen. Lovely one this, James Stewart and Jean Arthur in You Can't Take It With You, directed by Frank Capra. And from director Donna Deitch, this is Desert Hearts, with Helen Shaver and Patricia Charbonneau. Another Frank Capra one here. We've got Gary Cooper and Barbara Stanwyck in Meet John Doe. Criminal case documentary, this one, Capturing the Freedmans. And Hilary Swank and Chiwetel Ejiofor in Red Dust, directed by Tom Hooper. Brian Donlevy and Richard Conte in The Big Combo. And directed by J. Lee Thompson, this is Charles Bronson in 10 to Midnight. From 1975, this is Bruce Dern in Smile, directed by Michael Ritchie. And directed by Herbert Ross. We've got The Sunshine Boys here with Walter Matthau and George Burns. Classic bit of TV from my childhood here. We've got The Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew mysteries with Pamela Sue Martin and Parker Stevenson there. Used to love both of these. Beauty Queen comedy, this one, with Denise Richards, Kirsten Dunst and Ellen Barkin. This is Drop Dead Gorgeous. And no Eric Roberts in this one, but this is Philip Ree in Best of the Best 3. Stephen Fry as Oscar Wilde in Wild. And Vincent van Gogh's paintings come to life in this one, Loving Vincent. I've always had the poster, never actually seen the movie, but this is the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And a movie here called Here's to Life, starring Ossie Davis and Eric McCormack. I've not seen this one before, but it piqued my interest because it's actually shot in Victoria, and that's where I went to get all the movies that I showed you in the last haul. Always love seeing Doris Day, so here we have her with Brian Keith in With Six You Get Egg Roll. A special edition version here of the 1938 movie Reefer Madness. I really enjoyed seeing this one at the cinema, directed by Peter Bogdanovich. This is Cher with Eric Stoltz in Mask. Bish Bash Bosh, we've got a bit of Danny Dyer here in The Business, directed by Nick Love. And here we've got Betty Davis, Sterling Hayden and Natalie Wood in The Star. Natalie Wood again with Rosalind Russell in Gypsy. And an ensemble cast here in this comedy featuring the likes of Channing Tatum, Chris Pratt, Aubrey Plaza, etc., etc. This is 10 Years. Tom Selleck in a Louis L'Amour western. This is Crossfire Trail. And I've had this one before, but my DVD copy packed up, so glad to find it again. This is John Boorman's excellent Hope and Glory. Directed by Anatole Litvak. This is Anastasia with Yul Brynner and Ingrid Bergman. And Betty Davis again with Humphrey Bogart in Dark Victory. And Betty Davis again, this time with Claude Rains in Mr. Skeffington, directed by Vincent Sherman. Now everyone knows Gone with the Wind, classic movie with Clark Gable and Vivien Leigh. Not quite so well known is the TV movie follow-up Scarlet that starred Timothy Dalton and Joanne Whalley-Kilmer. From 1943, we've got Glenn Ford here, co-starring with Randolph Scott and Claire Trevor in the western The Desperados, directed by Charles Vidor. And Michael Caine, Robert Duvall and Haley Joel Osment in Second-Hand Lions. Audrey Tautou in Dirty Pretty Things, directed by Stephen Frears. And Henry Golding and Constance Wu in Crazy Rich Asians. Amy Adams and Christoph Waltz in Tim Burton's Big Eyes. And from 1989, this is Gregory Hines in Tap, directed by Nick Castle. Another Blu-ray here, and it's the recent The Zone of Interest, directed by Jonathan Glazer. Saw this one at the cinema, very powerful. And a great find, this one. This is a W.C. Fields collection of 18 movies. So I've only really seen The Bank Dick and My Little Chickadee. So they're both included on here. And for anybody that wants to pause, these are the 18 titles that are on there. From 1988, this is a drama from Woody Allen, Another Woman, with Gena Rowlands and Mia Farrow. And then I was quite surprised to find this. This is the Avatar collection. So I have Avatar on Blu-ray, but yeah, this also includes the follow-up Avatar Way of Water, which I have seen at the cinema. And yeah, I'm not in a rush to rewatch it, but yeah, I just thought I'd pick this up. Now, I mentioned in my TV box sets collection videos that I'd just replaced a previous copy of the Up series with this one. So the former one that I had only went up to age 49. This one goes up to age 63. So essentially this is Michael Apted's series of documentaries where he's following people every 7 years. So absolutely incredible undertaking to do that. So from age 7 up to age 63, Michael Apted has passed away now, so we won't be seeing any more of these. But yeah, great to have this complete set, and a network one as well. Directed by Zoltan Korda. This is Humphrey Bogart in Sahara. And directed by Bill Condon. This is Liam Neeson and Laura Linney in Kinsey. Great movie this. Great performance from Michael Caine. Featured here with Shelley Winters. This is the classic Alfie, directed by Lewis Gilbert. Bosnian war drama, this one, No Man's Land. And Giancarlo Giannini in Lena Wertmüller's Seven Beauties. Woody Allen and Diane Keaton riffing on Bogart movies and noir. This is Play It Again, Sam. And funnily enough, I have all of the Herbie movies, but I don't have the original one until now. This is The Love Bug. From Federico Fellini, this is I, Vitelloni. And directed by Ira Sachs, who's recently just had success with Passages, starring Ben Whishaw and Adele Exarchopoulos. This is Married Life, starring Chris Cooper, Pierce Brosnan and Rachel McAdams. Bit of trash here, but this is Liam Neeson in Cold Pursuit. I'm sure this is awful as well. This is Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren in Black Water. Written and produced by Sarah Polley and based on the book by Margaret Atwood. This is the miniseries Alias Grace. And for many people, this is their favourite comic sci-fi movie, Galaxy Quest. Back to Disney and classic Hayley Mills, Pollyanna. And I've seen this several times, but I've never actually had a copy. This is Neil Marshall's excellent horror movie, The Descent. Doris Day again, and this time with James Garner in The Thrill of It All. In my last video, I showed you The Fifth Musketeer, but here we are back to the originals directed by Richard Lester, The Three Musketeers and The Four Musketeers, starring Oliver Reed, Richard Chamberlain, and Michael York. Deborah Kerr and Yul Brynner, famous for starring together in The King and I, but they also made this one, directed by Anatoly Litvak, The Journey. Directed by Fred Zinnemann, this is a classic Rodgers and Hammerstein musical, Oklahoma. And then from 1974, this is an adaptation of Charles Dickens' Great Expectations, this one starring Michael York, Sarah Miles, James Mason and Robert Morley. Enjoyed this when it came out and haven't actually seen the follow-up series, but this is the first one, American Horror Story, with Dylan McDermott and Connie Britton. And I've never actually seen any of these, but I thought this was a nice addition to pick up. This is Resident Evil and Resident Evil Apocalypse, starring Milla Jovovich and directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. And then from 1990, this is Tom Savini's remake of George Romero's Night of the Living Dead. From director James Gunn, who's currently working on the new Superman, this is one of his early films, Slither. And then from Michael Cimino, this is Mickey Rourke and John Lone in Year of the Dragon, scripted by Oliver Stone. Intense one this, from Mel Gibson, seen it a few times but never actually had a copy, Apocalypto. Now I picked up a while back Jenny Seagrove's star-making role in A Woman of Substance, a Barbara Taylor Bradford adaptation, and this is the follow-up, Follow the Dream. Must admit, wasn't so keen on this when it came out, but this is Clint Eastwood's Crime Macho. And I do like this one, directed by Emilio Estevez and starring his father, Martin Sheen. This is The Way. From director Mira Nair, who also did Mississippi Masala, this is Monsoon Wedding. And John Malkovich and Saffron Burrows in a drama here about the painter Gustav Klimt, who did The Kiss. 4 sniper movies here. I think I've only ever seen the first one, but yeah, Tom Berenger and Billy Zane starring at least some of them. I think the first 3, not sure about the 4th one. Now I do have this one on Laserdisc. This is adapted from a Dinar Koontz novel. It's quite trashy, but it stars Jeff Goldblum and Alicia Silverstone. Hideaway. Gradually getting all the John Wick movies. This is John Wick 3, Parabellum, so I just have John Wick 4 to go. Amy Heckerling's classic Fast Times at Ridgemont High with Sean Penn. And if you've seen Mrs. Harris starring Annette Bening, then this also tells the same story, but back in the 70s. The People vs. Gene Harris starring Ellen Burstyn and Martin Balsam. Directed by Michael Winterbottom, this is The Shock Doctrine. A good one this from Woody Allen. This is Javier Bardem, Penelope Cruz and Scarlett Johansson in Woody Allen's Vicky Cristina Barcelona. Never actually seen this, but this is described as MTV's first foray into feature films. This is Joe's Apartment. And then we've got a Criterion title here, and certainly as I live in Canada, it's fitting that I should have this one. This is Mon Oncle Antoine. Next we've got a box set, and it's Roy Rogers and Trigger. This includes Young Buffalo Bill, Young Bill Hickok, In Old Cheyenne, Under California Stars, and Sunset in El Dorado with Gabby Hayes. Great one this, I've seen it before, glad to have a copy now. This is Australian movie Sweet Country with Brian Brown and Sam Neill. And glad to have this now on Blu-ray, one of my all-time favourite movies actually, but it's absolutely crazy, starring Klaus Kinski. This is Werner Herzog's Fitzcarraldo. Bit of Ozploitation here, and I've talked about this one before on my Ozploitation video. This is Dead End Drive-In, directed by Brian Trenchard Smith. Great movie. Classic World War I musical, this one, directed by Richard Attenborough. It was his first film as a director. This is Oh, What a Lovely War. From 1983, this is an Australian comedy drama with Wendy Hughes, who was also in Newsfront. This is Lonely Hearts. Back to Bette Davis again, and this time with Charles Boyer in All That and Heaven 2. And from Lawnmower Man director Brett Leonard, this is early days here for Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe in a virtual reality thriller, Virtuosity. From 1986, this is Rutger Hauer as bounty hunter Nick Randall in Wanted Dead or Alive, tracking down Gene Simmons. Rutger Hauer again in a serial killer thriller, Bone Daddy. And not sure what I'm going to think about watching this one again. This is The Cross and the Switchblade. This is one of the first faith-based dramas, and it stars Pat Boone and Eric Estrada. And the thing that's memorable for me is that this was actually shown to me in school. And I don't remember the school ever showing any other movies when I was there. But yeah, basically we all just turned up to a school assembly one day and there's a cinema screen and we all had to sit and watch this. So yeah, quite a bizarre thing. But anyway, I shall see what it's like. And then I just want to show this. I did a video a little while back talking about this movie, The Siege of Pinchgut, which is the final film produced by Ealing Studios. Very kindly, my sister was able to find a copy. It's a network release. Absolutely love network, but I don't have many of those. There is a channel called Jim Jam Movies. He's been showing his network collection just recently, so do go and check his channel out if you haven't seen those. But yeah, I'll just briefly show you. Nice, I like the poster work here. I've got Aldo Ray on the cover there. There's reversible artwork and then also a reproduction of the press kit as well. So really nice little release, this one. And a great movie. And then finally I found this massive set here of Lord of the Rings trilogy. These are the extended editions, so each one comes with 4 different DVDs packed with loads of extras as well as all the extended cuts. So I think this will take about a year to watch all of this. Okay, obviously quite a lot of movies there that I picked up in May. If you can remember what I've just shown you in that video, then please leave me any comments that you have, your thoughts about any of those movies. And please do join me again for more movie talk. Next video won't be a haul one, you'll be pleased to know. So yeah, please do join me again. Thanks very much for joining me on this one. All the best to you. Bye-bye.